Welcome, everybody, back to another edition of Night of the Shield right here on the Las Vegas Raiders News Review. Welcome to the 2024 season. I am your host, Jason Smith, a.k.a. The Knight, and I could sit here for 5 or 10 minutes and tell you why I'm barely making this video now, but I'm just going to sum it up real quick by just telling you that after many, many years of following this football team and making videos, I don't know, it's a different feeling right now for me in particular. And, you know, I need to make sure that my thoughts are clear. I'm going to do things different this year. You got to pick and choose what side of the fence you're on. You're going to be that guy that's 100% completely optimistic, or you're going to be that guy that just don't care and think the sky's falling, and because we didn't get the quarterback that we were seeking, that it's all over, which we'll get into that here in a second. But I get it. Over 20 years of mediocrity can do a lot to a person. And at some point, you got to separate fan from reality. And the reality is, whether it was free agency or it was the draft this offseason, we are still in the land of unknown. Period. So yes, we can watch training camp and listen to all the reporters that are there. You know, guys that are watching from the sidelines. They're not in the meeting rooms. They're not in the film rooms. They're not going over each mistake and each positive play, each correct decision, each bad decision. They're merely watching from the side, picking and choosing what they want to talk about when they write their articles or do their podcast. Now, with that said, that is not me putting them down for the work that they do, for the work that they've earned, for the biased opinion they bring us day in and day out, because a guy like me who don't see well can really, really appreciate everything that they bring to the table. Now, I only say that because until the pads are fully on and we're going up against an opposing team, we're really not going to know week in and week out. And I'm going to be honest. From a defensive standpoint, the optimism is high, and it should be. We ended on a high note, and we're bringing everyone back, and we added to that arsenal. There's a few things we're waiting to see how it's going to work out, like the middle of that defensive front with Christian Wilkinson. How's that going to bring Max Crosby up to speed? Is Kuntz going to return the same Kuntz that we saw at the end of last season? Because if that's the case, sign me up right now. We're a top 3 defense. And that's me being overly optimistic, by the way, and I know it, and I said it sarcastically. I'm just saying that there's so much that goes on in this football team in the offseason, in training camp. We have to let this all completely develop. The big talk right now is the cornerbacks. One of the places that we thought were going to struggle maybe a bit and we needed to make a bigger move is starting to look pretty darn nice, ain't it? Or is it the quarterback situation? Once again, we'll get to that in a second. But if the cornerbacks show up as advertised, along with the returning safeties of Epps and Merrig, and then our linebackers Spillane and Diablo, with this defensive front, that's the strength of this football team. Period. Antonio Pierce has said as much. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. As far as it pertains to the defense, that's it. There might be a reference to here and there, but what else is there to say? What else is there? How many times can I come back and regurgitate the same thing over and over? We have Malcolm Kuntz, who we need to return back this season the way he ended last season. Max Crosby, enough said. Christian Wilkinson, can he fit inside this system? Can he be that Raider piece that we've been missing in the front? We have to wait and see on that as well. We got Jenkins back. Everybody's talking about Jenkins and Matthew Butler. Hey, what about Tyree Wilson? If this guy comes in year 2 and starts to live up to the hype on the outside and on the inside, hey, again, these are some of the unknowns, but we have ourselves a football team here defensively for sure. And I'm excited to see it. Not going to necessarily knock on wood. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and necessarily say that, teams are in trouble, but at the same time, that is the strength of this football team. And we should lock in on that first and foremost. Wanted to get that out of the way real quick. By the way, if you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, all the bells and whistles. You know how this works. Much love, much appreciated. Been doing this a long time, and I don't even do it for the money. Not anymore, man. I'm passionate about the mission that I'm on. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you last year I was mentoring. It's now become a legit nonprofit. Don't know if I mentioned that to you. So I have my own nonprofit. Plus, I work for Valley Center for the Blind, and that's pretty much where I'm at right now. This is passion. This is a hobby. If it generates me some money, great. Oh, by the way, all money that I make on monetization goes directly to Independently Blind, the mentoring program. So again, this is not to support my pocket or any way. That's what I have my job for. Moving forward. Now, offensively, this is the conundrum, guys. This is where I don't know what to think. We went into this offseason, everybody on the same page. Raider Nation was on the same page. We need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. We got Gardner Minshew. Right away. Is he the next Rich Gannon? Right away. And I'm not even upset, man, because that was me. I said that once before, by the way, to one Matt Schaub. If you guys have been around long enough, you guys know that. You guys know that, right? And we all know what happened there. You learn from your mistakes. And look, these guys are professionals. They're saying the same thing. They're not guaranteeing you anything. They're not guaranteeing you they're the next Rich Gannon. They're not guaranteeing you that they're the next up-and-coming superstar for the Las Vegas Raiders. They're not doing it. They're telling you, hey, we're excited about the pieces that are here. Now let's go earn it. But we got Gardner Minshew, and that's just it. We brought back Aiden O'Connell. I said at the end of the season, don't know if I saw what I needed to see to be excited about it, and I stand on that statement. That is not to say that he cannot develop. That is not to say that he's going to come out and be somebody different this year and that he's going to take the next step. Not saying any of that. But I was hoping that we would see something from him last season that would give us more confidence to say that, and I didn't. So therefore, my confidence right now in the quarterback position, there isn't any. I'm not confident in that position. Again, that's not to say that something special can't happen or, one of these two quarterbacks are going to rise to the occasion. We got a brand new offensive coordinator, and I know everybody wants to look at his tape from Chicago and be like, this guy is trash. But it's a different team, different personnel, different environment, different head coaches. There's going to be philosophy that is going to be different. And he's got some really good personnel, and I want to get into that next here. Again, quarterback, unknown. Offensive coordinator, unknown. The second thing I felt that the Raiders needed to focus on if we weren't going to get the quarterback was an offensive lineman. And in the first round, we got a tight end. And I watch everybody, and I followed along. I followed all the reactions and what have you. Brock Bowers. Here's the funny thing that I don't hear enough people say. It's been said, trust me, but maybe the focal point on it is not strong enough. I think they did address the offensive line by picking up Bowers, as well as adding another offensive threat playmaker, first down maker, touchdown maker, big playmaker. The guy plays all over the place. Slot, outside, inside, running back. You can run in the rounds with this guy. Very, very much a Swiss Army knife. Very, very much a talented football player. And I know what people are going to say. So they're thinking, oh, man, what are you trying to say about blocking? He's not a good blocker. Not too many tight ends are coming out of college. It's not that he can't develop into that, right? So you still are adding that element to it. And because he's expected to be that Swiss Army knife and be more of a playmaker than anything, they're expecting Myers to be the guy that becomes that blocking tight end this year. And he was developing before he got hurt last season. So, and he's turning into a Swiss Army knife himself. So for an offensive coordinator that likes to run 12 personnel, you got Myers and Bowers, some of the most interesting upcoming tight ends in the National Football League on one football team with a guy who likes to run 12 personnel and utilize the tight end. I mean, I guess that's optimism, right? I mean, you can't go wrong there. I mean, what else could you say on that? That's insane. Second round, we get Powers. Okay. Have you seen another player drafted since Max Crosby that screams Raider like this guy does? Injury concerns. But here's my philosophy on injuries. They happen. There's no controlling it. Yes, some people seem to get more injured than others. I get it. But it is, you can't be, it's not so easy just to be that guy. Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. We've noticed it's not that easy. It's not that easy. Then after that, I think they did a really good job of working the board and they got some interesting pieces. And I'm going to get into my favorite pick, the pick that I'm most excited about, the one that's got me going, man, if this guy comes as advertised, along with everything else that's in place and going on, woo, it's going to be fun. But you add Bowers, you add Powers. Powers. You got Jacoby Meyer. A returning Trey Tucker who, come on now, he was a playmaker last year. He had that rookie rust factor going for him, but man, all reports saying that this guy has really taken the next step. And if that's the case, he's another big-time weapon. Devontae Adams, enough said. I'm not even going to get into all the other crap that goes around Devontae Adams' names. It's pointless. Not even going to touch it. He's Devontae Adams. He's a Raider. He is a legit number one receiver. Not only is he a legit number one receiver, he's proven over the years as a number one, he's unguardable. Question mark there is the quarterback once again. And he'll tell you the same thing. And if Devontae is going to be Devontae, everybody else that we've talked about up to this point right now, the Mayers, the Bowers, the Myers, the Tuckers, come on now. Again, intriguing, right? We are not lacking in offensive talent whatsoever. Skill players outside of quarterback, at least as of right now. Which only leaves us with the running back situation, which we lose Josh Jacobs. A lot of people on the fence going back and forth with this guy, man. Like, Josh Jacobs not a true Raider. He's talking crap. He's in Green Bay. He's trying to recruit people. It's a business. It's a business, guys. It's a business. And I could sit here and critique my feelings on Josh Jacobs, but at the end of the day, Josh Jacobs was him. Best running back we've had in quite some time. Is it unfortunate that it didn't work out and it's not continuing to happen? Yeah, but I can make some argument to that about health issues and what have you. And let's face it, we haven't been the type of franchise that we could hold anybody accountable for not wanting to be here or be here. Yes, he was one of Antonio Pierce's guys when he took over, but there's years before that where he wasn't. Antonio Pierce wasn't here. The ones that were retained, the ones that are sticking around, the ones that came back, the ones that wanted to be here. This is the new Raider way. This is Antonio Pierce's football team. And this is our only judging point is from 2024 on. And Josh Jacobs is not here. So we got Zeus. And Zeus came on strong last year, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, like, big boy. He's a different type of back. He's really been working on catching the ball out of the backfield. They're going to utilize him in many different ways. but he's going to be a workhorse. He's going to be a powerhouse. I know there's a lot of people saying, Derrick Henry-esque. And every time you put that type of tag on somebody, you're like, come on now. Just be Zeus. Just be Zeus. Be consistent. Do you. Don't try to be the guy that was before you, and don't try to be a Hall of Famer right away. Just be you and let everything else fall into place. Because at the end of the day, there's 11 of you on the field at one time. Everybody has to do their job for it to be that successful. So, again, am I screaming through the rooftops that we have Zeus? I'm not mad about it. He had to earn it. He looked good at the end of last season, man. Let's see if he can carry that over, being the dog. His backup, Addison, we got Abdullah. We got Britton Brown still on the football team. There's guys, right? There's guys. There's serviceable guys. Special teams guys. We're going to run the football. We're going to have to. We're going to have to utilize every back that we keep. The fact that we don't have a straight up fullback on this football team right now is a positive thing, in my opinion. We need all the halfback power guys that we can get right now. And if we feel like we're in a need to have a lead blocker, we'll use one of our tight ends, because we need these halfbacks, period. Skilled halfbacks, by the way, not just your typical halfback. Which leads me in to my most intrigued pick in the 2024 draft, and that's one Dylan Labe. If I said his name correct, if I messed it up, hey, get in line. I don't know. There's something about this guy that just screams confidence, skill set. And look, he is not going to be your bell cow. He's not going to be your bell cow. But he's a guy, dude. He's a guy that's going to be doing kick returns. He could do punt returns. He could line up at receiver. He's a halfback. He could run the rock. He's got some quickness to him. He's hard to bring down, big playmaker ability. He's the one that intrigues me most of all. And I think one of the biggest reasons why is when you look at the list of the position that he plays, you're not expecting this guy to be top dog, not even the backup to the top dog. You're expecting this guy to be a piece of that rotation that you can design plays around, that's going to, hopefully, if it all works out the way that I'm thinking it could, he's going to be an added feature in the backfield that's going to free up guys like Bowers, Adams, Tucker. There's only so much you can do. You hear it all the time when you start breaking down talent on a football team on one side or the other, right? Like whether it's defense, offense, all that. And you start looking at it on paper and you start to go, how can they guard it? Well, over the course of history, they always find a way. It's not always easy and it's not always pretty, but you never always have to stop everybody all the time. You just have to stop them enough to give yourself a chance. And that's where this Raider offense is at. And the biggest question mark is quarterback. And we're not yet knowing exactly who's going to be behind center. And we don't know exactly how this is all going to come together right now. And there's so much that has to happen before we could even get a good grasp. And I'm not even saying that preseason is going to say it all. It's probably going to take, and I've had the same exact conversation year in and year out on this channel. I break the year down in quarters. You're talking the first 4 to 5 games at this point. We're in a 17-game season now. We're going to be 4 or 5 games in before this team really shows who it's going to be offensively. And if they could get it together in those first 5 games, they don't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be pretty, but if whoever the quarterback's going to be, if they could start putting it together with Getsy and utilize this talent and basically be a high-end game manager, and there's a lot of factors to that, offensive line, all that. We get it. I mean, we've been here so many times it's not even funny. Then we have the personnel, the Swiss Army knives, as I keep saying, the talent on this football team, whether you're Devontae Adams, Dylan Labe, Brock Bowers, like Michael Mayer, like there is players and people that are going to be big-time playmakers on this offensive side of the ball that the only job the quarterback really has to do is just read the defense correctly, make the right call, and let everybody else put in the work. This defense is lined up to be something special. My opinion, that's total biased optimism. That is not, oh my God, Knight's a football guru. And no, hell no. Far from it. Just a fan, man. Just a fan. I gave up trying to be that guy a long time ago because guess what? There's so many moving parts to being a football guru, which there's very few in history, by the way. You gotta have lightning in your hand and thunder in your feet to really make a big difference, boy. Let me tell you what, you gotta have a lot of luck on your side for things to work out in the National Football League. It's been proven. At any given moment, a team can get hot. At any given moment, a team can get cold, regardless of who they are. Chiefs were struggling, man. The Chiefs looked like they were done. We thought we put them in the grave, and all we did is fire them back up, and you already know. So I guess the big question heading into this season is, do the Raiders have a chance? Do they have a shot? They have just as much of a chance and a shot as the rest of the 31 teams in the National Football League. And if you got a Matthew Stafford, a Patrick Mahomes, what have you, right? All these big time prime quarterbacks, you're probably feeling a little bit more confident than when you look at the Las Vegas Raiders and Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. But guess what, guys? You just never know. Ask Brock Purdy. And I hate saying that. I don't hate saying it because he's a Niner. I hate saying it because it's so cliche. Well, Brock Purdy did it, so why can't Aiden O'Connell? No, that's not how it works. It's possible, yes, but I mean, if Aiden O'Connell was going to be that guy, we probably would have seen it. But look, it wasn't pretty last year. I didn't leave there feeling overly confident, but I didn't leave there feeling like this guy could never play. He's dealt with this his whole career. Ever since he decided he wanted to be a football player, he's used to this. That's the one positive I guess you could hold on moving forward into the season is Aiden, in a lot of ways, has been built for this moment. It's just whether or not he's going to seize it or not. He's a very, very lucky human being. Most guys in his situation, like especially where we're at any given moment, we coulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever you want to feel about what happened in the draft, we could have made another move at quarterback. And this would be a whole different scenario for Aiden O'Connell. He gets Gardner Minshew. Is it enough? I don't know. But Aiden finds himself with pressure. But the Raiders did not go out and spend a first-round pick on the future, which means his future can still be bright. And this is where true athletes rise to the occasion. And it's something that he did in Purdue. He got drafted. He found himself in a position last year. Finds himself again with another opportunity this year. I don't know. There's not enough water in the trough to take a drink. I couldn't say one way or the other, man. You got to sit back, just like everybody else, all reporters, all news organizations and outlets, everybody. Even Antonio Pierce goes home every night waiting to see what's going to happen. Even Antonio Pierce cannot tell you honestly how this is going to play out at the quarterback position. He's going to tell you what he has to say and leave you feeling confident, giving you hope. But does that truly mean that's the way it's going to go down? Dude, it don't. So with that said, with my first video in 2024, It is what it is. It is what it's always been. It's a commitment to excellence and just win, baby. With that said, I'm glad to be back for the 2024 season. Hit that like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, and you know how I end every video. Stay Raider strong. Night out.